Tonight, Port Pirie's aerodrome ready to fly higher if council can find enough investors. And why the drought is definitely not the bee's knees for our local honey producers. Hello, thanks for your company again tonight. A new campaign to make sure local businesses get a bigger bite of the opportunity pie when it comes to any big projects that sit in the Spencer Gulf. Whyalla Business has launched the Opportunity Network, focusing on local suppliers keen to tap into contract work.
It's big investment deals like Sanjeev Gupta's billion-dollar solar project that has many local businesses hoping for a wide range of opportunities. Whyalla Council, the Chamber of Commerce and the RDA have teamed up to create a local business network.
I identified and said, well, what are a number of businesses here in the local Whyalla area, largely small businesses, that could supply services and products to the contract?
The Opportunity Network will put locals front and centre of investment opportunities, providing the right contacts to start a conversation.
Many of the small businesses, wonder what the process is and how they would go about it, and then obviously who the person is to talk to.
Last night's inaugural event featured a presentation from the company behind the new solar plant. Zen Energy's Sturt Daly says using local contractors is a major part of their plans.
Nothing better than getting local experience about working the land, operating the facilities.
Whyalla's peak business body says the network will help give city contractors valuable inside knowledge needed to secure tenders.
Understanding what the needs of the client are, the customer, and then how we can fulfil those needs.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
South Australia's Energy Minister has made a quick trip to Whyalla to continue discussions around $50 million in funding for the GFG operation. The previous Labor government set aside the money for projects that would improve steelworks infrastructure. The Minister says the new government will honour the commitment, and while there's no proposal on the table yet, he is confident that it's not too far away.
I have great confidence that the company will put to government soon what they think that money should be spent on.
The Minister also praised the company and its workers for their efforts to keep operations going. Police in Port Lincoln are investigating a break-in and have released CCTV footage of a suspect running from the scene. In the early hours of Saturday morning, police disturbed an intruder on Tasman Terrace who ran off down Adelaide Terrace. Police found a nearby restaurant had been broken into, with bottles of alcohol stolen. The suspect, a man aged in his late teens to early 20s, is described as 180 centimetres tall with short, dark hair. Anyone who recognises this man is urged to call Crime Stoppers. Port Pirie Council has released more details on how it wants to upgrade the local airport to catch more business from the fly-in, fly-out workforce. Council is investigating what it will cost to take the existing air park to a more commercial level.
The sky is the limit for Port Pirie Regional Council. Council wants to maximise the viability of the aerodrome with new infrastructure and commercial opportunities for aviation and other businesses.
Some of them being air parks, defence activity, private hangar space, and commercial and industrial development around that site as well.
The plan also includes building accommodation for pilots who need somewhere to stay during flight layovers and the construction of as many as 10 hangars.
Whether there is an economic viability to them going forward and whether there's a demand for them as well.
The investigation forms part of the aerodrome's 20-year master plan, and the search is now on to find investors.
Put together a prospectus for those who might be interested in investing around the airport, which will be available very shortly, around December of this year.
And then beyond that, Council will continue to consult air charter and mining companies as part of a detailed analysis of how the aerodrome can be developed to provide more services for the wider community. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Well, with increased noise around the benefits of having a nuclear waste storage facility, a new report is outlining how the material could possibly be transported through the region. Casey Treloar joins us now, and Casey, it appears Port Lincoln has been listed as a possible option for offloading the waste.
That's right, Ali. Some of the technical reports prepared by AECOM cite the potential for the nuclear waste to be shipped from New South Wales to key ports in the Spencer Gulf, including Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Port Pirie. The report also looks into the opportunity to utilise the rail as a mode of transport to the proposed sites near Kimber, and says if rail was used, it would first need to be shipped to Port Lincoln. However, industry says the discussion of ports and transport routes is too premature until a storage site is locked in.
AECOM looked at potential transport routes, but it was no more than noting that they existed. The clear planning on transport of the waste is a little way off.
And says not all nuclear waste would necessarily travel through ports.
It's not to say that all the waste or even a majority of it would come by sea.
Once approval is secured on a site, however, there will be extensive community consultation on the potential routes.
The movement of waste is an incredibly safe event. Something like 2,000, ANSTO currently ship around 2,000 packages of nuclear materials around communities to 250 hospitals every month.
So, Ali, while there is detail in the report outlining potential transport routes through Port Lincoln, there won't be any further discussion from industry until a nuclear storage site receives the go-ahead.
Thanks, Casey. Well, it's won national awards and many admirers who've wandered through its natural beauty over the years. And now the Arid Lands Botanic Gardens has been judged #1 by the well-regarded Guardian newspaper. Garth Burley has more.
It's proudly local, but it seems visitors from England have also taken a shine to the Outback Garden.
But it's amazing to think that somebody who's came here has gone back over there and was so pleased with what they saw here, they sent it to the newspaper.
Among other luscious gardens in the top 10, from South Africa, Norway, Ecuador and Sri Lanka, the Guardian readers selected our very own Arid Lands as the winning tip for garden wanderers.
I think that's wonderful, just goes to show what they thought of our beautiful garden.
Every plant in the large garden is a native of the southern areas of Australia, and volunteers say the organic and laid-back layout of the garden sets it apart from its contemporaries.
It also has a lot of sort of natural areas that it's like walking through the real bush.
And while it's nice to receive such accolades, the volunteers at Arid Lands continue to put in the hard yards to maintain and improve the natural resource experience for thousands of visitors each year.
At the moment we're doing a bit of a revamp of the Arid Lands Children's Explorer Garden.
So as expectations get higher, the garden's crews are always plotting a new twist to the formula.
I think now we have to, now it's been uplifted, we have to really keep hard to keep it growing and keep it looking nice.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, honey producers on the Eyre Peninsula speak of how the drought is making for some very thirsty bees. That's next on Southern Cross News. Welcome back. Well, beekeepers on the Eyre Peninsula have spoken about how the drought is impacting their honey stocks. The lack of rain means there's a lot less plants around, interrupting the process of pollination.
Norm and Val Pope have been producing honey on the Eyre Peninsula for almost 40 years, but with drought-like conditions across the region, it appears their honey production is facing an all-time low.
Some winters we might take 2 or 3 rounds of honey. This year we've only got the one or one and a bit. Wind hasn't helped, dry conditions, pretty cold winter, so it definitely had an effect.
He says while there has been plant growth in the region, there's been a severe lack of flowers.
There's not a lot of flowers, and what flowers are there are often very dry. There's not much nectar in them.
Caring for 500,000 bees, Norm says in dry times like these, proper management is paramount to ensure the bees have enough honey reserves.
In fact, sometimes you can't take any honey, but you've got to realise you've got to leave the honey with them sometimes.
And with a shortage of available honey stocks, consumers might need to expect the golden goodness to become a little more expensive.
It can affect the price of honey because if there's a shortage of honey, then the price goes up.
But there's hopes the bees can buzz back to full production come summertime.
If we get summer rains, that's really good because we have Lincoln wheat and paddy melon and all those things the farmers don't like. We as beekeepers love them, and that's when you have your good years.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
BHP has been forced to suspend surface operations at its Olympic Dam mine. The company confirmed the shutdown after an outage at its acid plant where a number of boiler tubes have failed. The tubes transport gas from the smelter to the plant to create acid, which is then used for extracting minerals. In a statement, BHP says repair work is underway and underground mining operations will continue. The State Mining Minister says he doesn't believe that there'll be any impact on jobs.
They don't expect this breakdown to back up their underground operation, and their above ground people, in fact, if anything, will have more work in the short term.
The company has also confirmed it's using the shutdown to undertake other maintenance. Well, 2 years ago, the Broken Hill Musicians Club was playing a very sad tune, coming super close to calling it a night. But now the club is back on song, thanks to the support of locals who just love their live music.
The Musos Club is once again hitting a high note.
We've knuckled down and got to the business of turning the club back into a great venue for Broken Hill.
It was back in February 2014 when the Broken Hill Musicians Club went into administration. 2 years later, the Crystal Street venue was barely making ends meet.
During that administration event, the club nearly was wound up 3 times. So it's been a long journey.
Mr Boland took over as General Manager in May last year. He says the closure of the Broken Hill Civic Centre has been a major benefit for the club.
It's basically brought a lot of people into the club that haven't been in here for 10, maybe 15, maybe even 20 years back to our last renovation, to show them that the club's open for business, we're going ahead and things are happening in the club. So that was a great opportunity to show those people.
Even today, local school kids have hit the stage for the annual Eisteddfod, ensuring the community is a big part of any future planning.
We're working towards a master plan for the club. We don't want to get ourselves into too much debt, so we don't go down the same path as happened before.
No last call for the Musos. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Young people in Port Augusta with great business ideas are being encouraged to shoot for the stars in a new community initiative that is offering a little bit of cash to make your dream a reality.
It's a small cash boost that might lead to big things for Port Augusta's budding business stars.
The Shooting Stars Award was a bit of an idea that came up from the board. It's basically just an opportunity for young achievers.
This is the first time Business Port Augusta has offered funding along these lines. Until now, money had been donated to various community groups, but this year they wanted the focus firmly on the next generation of business builders.
Whether it be in sport, whether it be within schooling, whether it be an idea that they have, but to try and get some funding from us to help them on their journey.
The awards will be open to anyone aged 13 to 21. With grants totalling up to $3,000. All you have to do is submit a short video explaining your idea and why you think it's worth backing.
Make it funny, make some humour into it, but also getting your message across on what the goal is that you're out to achieve.
As part of the Port Augusta Business Awards, money raised from a charity auction will also filter back into the Shooting Stars program. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
To sport now, and the Broken Hill Cricket League is not waiting until summer to start planning for another big season. The league is working on plenty of Plan B options to face the challenge of extreme heat or match washouts.
The most recent season of Broken Hill cricket saw multiple matches cancelled due to hot weather.
Over the last 2 seasons, you'd be aware that we've lost quite a bit of cricket through extreme heat.
At the league's annual general meeting, its hot weather policy was a major talking point. If the temperature is above 41 degrees, the matches have reduced overs. If the mercury hits 43, it's cooled off entirely. 3 matches were cancelled in the back half of last season as the city sweltered through a hotter than average summer. The league is looking to workshop a few ideas with the 4 clubs.
We've built some flexibility in there with temperatures and that reverting back to 2020 cricket and these sort of things, so we do get some sort of cricket. Flexibility in starting times, so if it's a hot day we can get started earlier and these sort of things.
The suggested changes to starting times will be put to the local clubs to see if players would still be available, and the league will be looking to boost junior cricket for the 2018-19 season.
Like all junior sport in the town, we're struggling a bit there. We've got a few ideas that we're discussing and that, but I think it's shaping up like it'll be a good season. Let's hope it's not too hot a season.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break, our weekly look at fuel prices.
And there could be some wet weather returning across the region. I'll have all the details soon.
OK, let's check in now with Patrick Reinke for our weekly look at what you're paying for a full tank around our regions.
It's been a topsy-turvy week at the Bowser, with some prices going up and down while others stay the same. Starting with unleaded, and as you can see, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Port Lincoln is up slightly but still sits on $1.45. Whyalla is holding steady, while Port Augusta has dropped by about a cent to $1.42. Port Pirie has had a bad week, jumping by almost 2 cents, while Kadina enjoyed a 2-cent drop. Here in Broken Hill, the price is still in the low 150s. Adelaide Cycle is starting up again. The SA Capital spiked by 13 cents to hover around $1.46. To diesel now, where there's been no change in Port Lincoln and Whyalla prices. And Port Augusta drivers can expect to pay an average or around $1.52. Port Pirie is up into the 150s as well this week after seeing a 2-cent increase. Kadina has also seen some red. Silver City motorists are paying a pricey $1.58 for diesel, compared to Adelaide, which is sitting around $1.42. Now remember, these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. If you happen to find a spot that does sell unleaded or diesel for cheaper, let us know on our Facebook page.
Time now for the weather. It's over to Amy.
Thanks for that, Ali. It was still quite a warm day in Port Augusta and Whyalla, maximum sitting at 25. Sunny and a top of 21 degrees in Broken Hill. Checking the satellite, and there's still some cloud in the south and east, which is only bringing a few light showers. Clear skies elsewhere are leading to cool to mild days and chilly overnight temperatures. If you're out on the waters tomorrow, northeasterly winds will shift easterly between 10 to 15 knots. Seas will reach 1 metre, while sunrise will be at 6:51 and setting at 5:54. The chance of showers in Port Augusta, Whyalla and Woodner tomorrow, temperatures sitting in the mid to high teens. Rain for Kadina and a top of 15 degrees. Rain will clear in Port Lincoln by Friday as fine conditions last into the weekend. A similar forecast for Cleve and Woodner, where maximums will slowly rise into the low 20s. Temperatures will sit at 20 in Whyalla over the weekend, with sunny conditions expected. After the wet weather clears in Port Augusta, it'll be sunny with tops of 21. And a little cooler in Kadina, however still mostly fine. Any showers in Port Pirie will only be light, and they're looking like they'll clear by Friday for a sunny weekend. Clare will round out Sunday with a fine 16 degrees, and in Broken Hill, mostly sunny and tops of 21 degrees. So as the rain clears up, it's looking like a sunny weekend ahead.
Thanks for that, Amy. And that is Southern Cross News for this Wednesday night. You can keep across breaking news events and local issues via our Facebook page or YouTube channel. On behalf of all the team, enjoy the rest of your night.